Today, the School of Public Policy released a paper by David Stewart and myself entitled, "Is this the End of the Tory Dynasty, the Wildrose Alliance in Alberta Politics?" It's about how far Danielle Smith and the leadership group in the Wildrose Alliance have to move the party to find the sweet spot in Alberta politics where they can supplant the dominant Tory party. The paper is based in part on attitudinal research we commissioned after the 2008 provincial election, which showed us the relationship between people's votes and their opinions. What the research tends to suggest is that Albertans are an interesting mix of both left and right-wing opinions. On one hand, they're very supportive of free enterprise, individual effort. They don't like governments interfering in their lives. They expect governments to be populist, that is, to deal with individuals, to connect with them. On the other hand, they like government to provide core services in areas such as healthcare, social services and protection for the environment. And despite stereotypes, are not particularly socially conservative. They're not driven, their politics is not heavily driven by their opinions on social issues. Some of the current dissatisfaction with the Tory party, of course, reflects difficulties with the Premier and some upset, particularly in Calgary, I think, with the royalty review. So with the party coming up to a leadership contest, that could change very quickly. If they can find a leader who can reconnect with Albertans, can make a truth out of the fact that the Tories really are the party of Alberta, then of course they can recover much of what they may have lost in the last little while. Critically, the Wildrose Alliance has to find ways to meld its existing support base, which is an interesting mix that involves some what you might call ordinary or moderate voters, but also some economic libertarians and some social conservative voters, hold those together while moving the party both in policy and in the language they use towards the centre, so that Albertans who, for example, support government services don't feel like the party will threaten those services. Yet Albertans who are populist and who like the idea of a government that listens to them think that Wildrose will be a party that will be censored to them. So they don't want a party that's too ideologically driven. An ideological libertarian, many Albertans might agree on economic issues with that person, but if they think they're getting somebody who's not going to listen to Albertans, who's going to apply ideology first, then that's going to be a real problem. So Danielle Smith has to keep using language that talks about perhaps local control, responsiveness of government, that language that makes government seem like it's for the people, not driven by a set of preset or a set of ideological ideas. I think the PC party has a real challenge. It clearly can recover, I think, its position if it makes the right choice in terms of leader. But the party needs to do a range of things. It needs to make sure the leader is fairly charismatic, can deal well with the media, can project well, can be seen as honest and, I think, real in connecting with Albertans and reflecting Albertans back to them, will appear to be sensitive to Albertans, not an ideologue, and maybe most critical of all, not remind Tories and Albertans about the divisions that are natural in any province. So the divisions between the north and the south, the divisions between rural and urban Albertans need to be sort of suppressed and controlled, and rather the idea that it's what draws Albertans together that is critical to both the party and to the future. It's certainly true that change in government in Alberta is sporadic, and there are these long periods with single government. I don't think there's any necessary reason for Albertans to throw a government out. You have to have a reason. Peter Lougheed gave people a reason. He convinced Albertans that changing to the Conservatives was safe change, that you were going to get a sort of young social credit party, energetic, maybe slightly more capable social credit party, more sensitive to people. And that does speak very much to, I think, the dynamic in the next election, that if Danielle Smith can convince people that she's the Tory party revived and that the current Tory party has lost touch, then she can do well. If the Tory party can find a leader who can re-energise the party, connect with Albertans and remind them that it's the same party doing the same things but listening to Albertans, then the party can sustain itself. So there is no necessary reason, I think, to change. The fact that we've had 2 or 3 changes after decades is a pattern that has no clear underlying message other than if you lose touch with Albertans, they'll find somebody else. And in that period where you lose touch, another party will necessarily grow to fill the gap. I'm Anthony Sayers. This is the School of Public Policy. Thanks for watching.